This is video 11 of 101. This video is about blenders and food processors. Having a blender or a food processor is a great way to help you save time, and it opens up the field for other kinds of cooking. I highly recommend saving up and investing in a blender. A blender is typically for liquefying things. A food processor is typically for processing food in whatever capacity, so that's usually about chopping foods or blending to make dips and spreads. As well, food processors are great for creating baking blends. This one is for wet ingredients, and this one is for dry ingredients. The blades in the wet one are all pointed there, so they are there to liquefy things as quickly as possible. In the dry one here, you'll notice that only 2 of the blades are pointed and the other 2 are flat. This is very critical because otherwise it is going to liquefy your food, and sometimes when you're trying to blend stuff and you're not trying to liquefy it, that can be an issue. I got this tiny little food processor here. They're usually much bigger, but I didn't really want something too big because I have the blender there. This is kind of like a magic bullet. So you've got the container here where you put in your food, and then you add the knife in, and then you plug it in and you put the lid on top. That's what'll start the blade. And what I bought this for essentially was for making dips and guacamoles, because then I can just take the blade out and I've got a nice little container for my dips and guacamoles, rinsing this right away because that is not a fun thing to try to wipe down. There is no way you're going to get in there without cutting yourself up a bunch of times. And trust me, I have cut myself a bunch of times trying to wash this after it has not been rinsed. I don't recommend it. This is a fun little thing. It cost me, I think, $25, or was it $15? It was very inexpensive. But a food processor is definitely not necessary. I can't say a blender is necessary, but it is definitely going to open up a lot more doors and make some simple processes and getting more nutrients a lot easier. So if it's possible for you to invest in a blender, in a high-powered blender, I highly recommend it, especially one that can have an additional dry food container as well. The liquid blenders are amazing, and they're going to open up some awesome doors for getting nutrients into your body way easier. Smoothies are an incredible way to get lots of nutrients into your body in a short and tasty way. Another amazing thing that you can do with a blender is make nice cream. And nice cream is when you take frozen bananas and other frozen fruits and different flavors if you want, putting them in a blender, and it creates this incredible ice cream consistency. It might be a little rough on your blender, and I recommend having a high-powered blender if you're going to make nice cream, but nonetheless, I'd say it's kind of magic. I'm going to do another video later about smoothies and all the different varieties, but essentially when that food has been blended down to a liquid, it's easier for your body to digest and absorb, and you're going to be getting those nutrients so much easier. It's easier to hide vegetables and things you don't want to eat every single day in a smoothie with tons of other fruits, so you don't even taste it. The dry one is kind of like a food processor. You can use it to create flours, spreads, and dips, and you can use it to chop up vegetables if you'd like. It's great for baking and also creating dessert-like items. Big tip, if you're ever using a food processor or a blender, as soon as you are done, as soon as you have removed the food from that container, rinse that thing right away, because cleaning those blades is the biggest hassle if that food is stuck on there. So save yourself that time and rinse your blenders, rinse your blades as soon as they are done being used. The food will just run right off, and you're not gonna have to scrub it when you're washing it. Washing blenders and washing food processors is not a fun experience if the residue has been dried on. Another reason why I like to have just my 2 containers for my blender rather than having a separate food processor is because food processors are a little bit trickier to clean. There's the blade, and then there's a couple other removable parts that you have to clean, and they're not the easiest to get your hands in there, and usually they're not dishwasher safe either. Rinsing them right away will help to reduce the effort used when cleaning later, and then when you're done, you've got awesome green smoothies like this here. Smells delish. If you ever make a smoothie and it ends up not tasting the way you want it to taste, my best advice to you, plug your nose and chug.